And Hector's been writing every night, and he writes several times until his email is read. So I was wondering what do you and Oz think about Joss Whedon finally speaking out about the misconduct allegations against him. Here's a link to the article that he puts that in there. Did you hear about all this with Joss Whedon?
I did hear about that. Him coming back and just enough is enough. God damn it.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
I don't know. What do you think about this whole thing? I didn't read this article, but what do you think about it?
I didn't read the article either, but I just know that he came back and he was, trying to defend himself and kind of shift the blame towards them. It's right now, this seems like a finger pointing at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's his name? Ray Fisher, he was like, he was bad and even racist. Gal Gadot, he tried to ruin my freaking career. Old Ben Affleck, he was horrible. He comes back and said, well, they weren't professional either, man. He from what I read, he didn't cite any specific things, but he was just saying like, yeah, they weren't the best people to work with. So it's just a lot of finger pointing.
Yeah, who knows, man? Really? Who knows?
I don't know.
It sounds like, well, I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know, because, I've been on the side of things where several people said shit about me, and I don't think it was correct. I don't think it was true. So who knows, man? But I will say that, when I guess when a lot of people are talking about, I mean, if you said things like, I will ruin your career, that's, Gal Gadot, would she be lying? Because that's a really shitty thing to say to somebody, And
that's a very specific thing to say. You can't dance around those words. I mean, that's what she said. You said, it has to have some kind of context too, unless you come out and directly say, I did not say those words, which I read some of the article and he didn't say anything about that. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was dancing around and doing a lot of finger pointing back. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to think about this whole situation, but like I said, if there are key things in there, things that were said, those things, those words mean something, man. I'm gonna ruin your career. That's man. That's not even words. That's not even being, aggressive on set. That's threatening somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people who have been coming out and saying this. So Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher, Ben Affleck just came out and saying it was not a good experience working on this movie. So hey, look, man, these people are respected as far as I know today. So.
Yeah. And it's 4 against 1, and you're not doing yourself any favor by pointing. Well, their shoelaces weren't untied the whole time. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
You ain't going to address the issue that was pointed at you. You going to talk about what? So
yeah, I don't know.
A lot of that stuff is kind of too far gone as well. You know what I mean? Didn't he get dropped off one of his shows that he was on?
Yeah.
The Nevers?
Yeah.
On HBO? Yeah, he got dropped. Man, I don't know if it's because of this, but I'm sure this didn't help. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I don't know, why him talking now was what was going to do for him.
Yeah, like I said, man, hey, I guess the bright side here is that nobody accused him of sexual harassment or
you know what?
Sexual harassment or sexual violating anyone.
Well, at least not on this set. I heard something else on the Buffy set.
Oh no! Josh, what you doing, man?
I'm sure the chat knows or whatever, but it's something to the effect of one of the younger stars were not permitted to be alone with him.
Oh, I heard something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like in the clause. You are not to be alone with this guy. I'm like, what is that about?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
We talked about this yesterday. I don't want to come in and say I never liked this guy. Because I always did like Joss Whedon. Here's what I thought about Joss Whedon. I thought Joss Whedon at one time, he was a geek favorite.
Yes,
and
yes,
geeks
he was
just
a geek.
loved him.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the movie that he made. It was a Shakespeare movie that he made at his house, and I thought this thing is. I'm not really into it, but I had to sit in a room full of movie critics and geeks who thought that this shit was the greatest thing because they just love Joss Whedon, and I just everybody just loves this guy right now, man, and I just don't get it, and I did say I think at some point there's gonna be like there's gonna be like a backlash because everybody's loving this guy so much. Also, he was virtue signaling about how much he was a feminist, just bragging about that all the time. I was like, if anybody's crowing that hard about being anything, I'm like, I don't know, man. Anyway, he was always speaking up when nobody asked him shit.
Well, I have something to say. Like nobody's talking to you.
Like when what's his name from Scott Pilgrim, Edgar Wright. When Edgar Wright had his falling out with whatever it was with Marvel, they parted ways. He was putting up memes of shit, and I stand in solidarity with Edgar Wright. Like, who the fuck asking, man?
Hell out of here! Don't ask you for that.
What you say? Get out of here!
Oh man, that's funny. I stand with you, brother.